So what is going on, guys? It's Triple G here with a Midnight Suns video, and in today's video we're looking at the new gameplay footage that has now been released for Midnight Suns. We can see Doctor Strange, we can see our new legendary hunter, as well as Blade and Wolverine. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, as we're going to be covering all the Midnight Suns content, both pre and post release. Or consider joining us on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise let's get straight into this footage. So as we got to see our first real taste of the gameplay footage, it's worth noticing that they just chucked us into a mission which they said was around about 12 hours into the game. Now this is a AAA release, so expect to see a lot more hours than just 12 hours, which is really exciting considering that you're going to be able to use some of your favorite Marvel characters. Now, as we look at the gameplay footage here, you'll see that as we've gone into the mission, we have our hunter who we play, and then 2 additional Marvel characters. In this one, we are looking at Doctor Strange and Blade. As you can see across the bottom, you have a number of cards that are randomly selected at the start of the mission, and then it is up to you to use a combination of your characters and those cards to defeat the enemies on the battlefield. Now what it looks like here is they have gone all in on the environment, and there are a number of different combinations that you can use with the environment and your characters to do some pretty devastating attacks on the enemies. One thing that is different between this game and some of the previous strategy turn-based games is you have unlimited movement before you actually take your move and strike your enemy, so you'll be able to reposition yourself into the perfect spot. There is also a lot of precision with that. So for example, later on in the footage we will see that the Wolverine moves a lamppost to fall onto Sabretooth's head, and he can do it precisely where it needs to be so that it hits his enemy and it also doesn't hit you as well. In terms of the cards themselves, obviously we touched on that these are randomly selected, and there are some offense and defensive cards, as well as some cards that you can't use until you have charged up your heroism, which is on the bottom right hand side of the screen. Now it looks like what you will do is by defeating enemies you will charge up that heroism, which in turn then will allow you to use some better cards. Our hunter as well also has what's called a hero combo, which will allow our characters to all hit the battlefield at pretty much the same time with their own special animations and cutscenes, and it is very, very special indeed. It does feel like they have gone all in to give you that cinematic experience and give you the real sense of just how powerful the characters are. Just when we thought the mission was over, Sabretooth then appears, as well as one of the favorite characters in the Marvel X-Men comics, and that is Wolverine, to help you face off this adversary. Now there is some audio and a little bit of dialogue that goes between the characters, and I expect that to carry on happening all the way through the video game, so you really do get a sense of just what these characteristics are about with these characters, and then you get to take on the actual Sabretooth enemy himself. The Wolverine fight, what was showcased, was really interesting. He used a lot of the traverse mechanics, getting himself around the map and then using the environment to his advantage. It really did work well. The person that was playing for us did actually mention that Sabretooth had a lot of health, and you can see towards the end of the fight that our 2 characters were actually struggling with their health towards the end, although they did get to complete the mission. One thing I will note as well about this video game is that the footage that we have seen today is very close. There were a few times that you were able to zoom out a little bit and then work out what exactly was on the battlefield and where you needed to move. More traditional to XCOM, where you were more zoomed out. I would probably prefer to play my video game that way, but I think because they were showcasing the character renders and everything like that, that they stayed quite zoomed in. But it did feel a little bit claustrophobic when that was happening. But again, I think you're going to be able to zoom out, as you know, for personal preference. Overall, I think everybody should be very impressed with what we've seen so far. In addition to the actual combat systems themselves, they also showed us a little bit of the Abbey and how you can move around the Abbey and interact with the characters, getting to know your characters on a personal level, which will also in turn help develop those relationships later down the line. I was more interested in the actual combat system today, just to see exactly how the video game played. I still would like to see how the flow of the video game is, how fast these missions are. The guys were talking over the top of this footage today, so I wasn't able to really get that sense of flow because they were pausing to describe a few things. Guys, that is it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise I'll catch you on the flip.